You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, a Tuesday night crash takes out the power for about 1,000 people in Joplin.
And we take you to Carl Junction to learn more about safety tips for driving a golf cart around the city.
And you can see there's a little bit of patchy fog across the area. Thankfully, nothing too dense ahead of this beautiful day in the 4 states. We'll talk about that Wednesday forecast coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Authorities need your help finding a robbery suspect. The robbery occurred Monday night about 11:20 p.m. at the Eagle Stop on Pin Oak Drive in Aurora, Missouri. Suspect displayed a black handgun and demanded the clerk give him money. He fled the store with cash from the cash register. Authorities say the man was wearing an orange beanie, had a partial face mask, and fled in a light-colored SUV. If you have any information regarding this case, please contact the Aurora Marionville Police. Tuesday night crash takes out power for about 1,000 people in Joplin. Reports of a vehicle crashing into a utility pole near Schifferdecker and Bell Center Road came in last night around 9:30 p.m. And troopers say a pickup traveling north on Schifferdecker failed to navigate the curve to Bell Center Road, went through the fencing at Faith Tabernacle and took out a utility pole and lines. The driver was not injured in the crash. Power was rerouted and restored in about an hour. Authorities are investigating the crash as a possible DWI. On Tuesday, fire crews battled a blaze south of Joplin. Just after 7 p.m., authorities responded to a house fire on Goldfinch Road. There was a partial roof collapse and flames went through the roof. Authorities say everyone was out of the house safely. 2 adults and a child were displaced by the fire. There was also a brush fire that covered about a quarter acre, which was put out shortly after 8. A Joplin man learns his sentences for a domestic assault death. Casey Malone is sentenced for 25 years for second-degree murder. 2021, 63-year-old Ann McCrary was found with head and face injuries and a broken arm. She died a few days later. Malone reached a plea agreement in the case. The Carl Junction Police Department is reminding its citizens about the potential dangers of driving golf carts on the streets without the proper license or safety measures. Excuse me. Excuse me. KOAM Shagun Bomadelli joins us with more. Good morning, Shagun. Sorry, I sneezed.
Good morning, Tanya. Golf carts are a popular mode of transportation amongst people who live in residential areas. Carl Junction police say they have seen many members of the community use golf carts to go shopping, go visit friends, or go to community events. However, driving a golf cart on the street can be dangerous if the proper precautions are not taken. The Carl Junction police issued a warning to citizens, urging them to obtain the proper license to operate a golf cart on the street.
So this is a primary concern that we want parents and kids, of course, too, but we want the parents to be aware that they cannot let their kids drive these things if they are underage and if they don't have a driver's license.
Agent Dickey says the number one thing people should remember while driving a golf cart is to always pay attention on the road. Police say last year there were multiple incidents involving golf carts. Tanya, back to you.
All right, thanks, Shagun. Curious though, any of those, are there incidents like this in other communities as well? Like, are they having an issue with golf carts on the streets not driving safely?
I agree. When I spoke to the Carl Junction police, they said just because Carl Junction is a big golfing area, that's why they have this problem. So I don't, in my own personal opinion, I don't think other communities are having this problem. Carl Junction is a big golfing place. That's why they're seeing a lot of these. Mm-hmm. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much. And with the golf course right in the middle of the residential area, it makes sense. All right, thanks, Shagun. Well, a new organization in Southeast Kansas meets for the first time on Tuesday. It's called the Independence and Cherryville Child Care Coalition. It's a local chapter of state organizations that connects families with child care providers. Meeting focused on how decisions will be made in the group and possible grant opportunities.
We may also look into possibly starting a substitute pool for area child care providers. It can be hard if you're an in-home provider and you need a day off. You don't want to necessarily leave all those families without child care, or if you have a center, it can be really hard to find backup for that too.
The meeting was held at the Independence Public Library.
We've got ourselves an absolutely gorgeous day across the area. Look at that sunrise. Doesn't it look wonderful? We've got some patchy fog, otherwise not too bad. 50 degrees in Joplin, south breeze at 8 miles an hour. Across the area, starting to warm up progressively. We got 50 Pittsburgh, 46 Parsons, 52 Miami, and 54 in Neosho. We get our day started. We got mostly sunny skies up to the near 70 by late morning. Could see some wind gusts pushing 20, maybe a little over, otherwise not too bad. Breezy through the afternoon. We're looking at mostly clear skies, maybe a passing cloud or two. Highs in the mid to even upper 70s across the region. And as we head into this evening, another clear night, down to 60 by 10, and eventually reaching an overnight low in the lower 50s. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Every April, Alpha Sigma Alpha sorority at Missouri Southern State University hosts the Take Back the Night event to raise sexual assault awareness. This year, Alpha Sigma Alpha sorority collaborated with Kansas University students on the candlelight event. During the event, speakers from the Lafayette House shared the importance of consent and recognizing sexual violence. At the end, volunteers passed out candles to represent hope.
Love the opportunity to, have both of our schools together, working together, just showing our community some support and showing, honestly, our fellow students our support as well.
The Lafayette House is planning another event with Freeman and Mercy Healthcare today at noon. Well, a clock in downtown Parsons, Kansas is officially dedicated. The downtown clock was installed in December of last year, and on Tuesday was dedicated in honor of William, Pete, and Mary Hughes. The couple were honored for their volunteerism in the city, ranging from Operation Bright Touch, Katie Days, and helping put Christmas lights up. Community donors funded and purchased the installation of the clock at no cost to the city or taxpayers.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful, and they didn't want any recognition for anything they did. They just love our town and wanted to contribute what they could to it. But it's cool. Yeah. It's beautiful. And
more than 250 people attended the dedication. The clock is at 17th and Main Street by the Parsons Municipal Building across from the post office. Well, coming up, Julie Smith from the K-State Extension Service is stopping by to tell us all about a regional expo known as Aging with Attitude.
And later, a man chases his wife for the last decade with a lobster. Yeah, you heard me right, a lobster. Only Jeannie Moose can bring us this crazy story. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Carl Junction.
In Health Watch this morning, it's a severe and sometimes life-threatening infection caused by bacteria. And the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is monitoring a rise in invasive Group A strep infections in U.S. kids. The antibiotic commonly used to treat it may be hard to get. Mandy Gaither has more on this illness and what parents can do if they can't find the medicine doctors routinely prescribe to treat it.
It's the prescription most often given to children to treat Group A strep infections such as strep throat and scarlet fever. But there's a national shortage of the liquid antibiotic amoxicillin, and it comes at a time when the CDC is keeping an eye on a rise in a severe form of the illness.
Group A strep is not just, a sore throat. It can lead to many complications.
Group A strep infections can range from minor to potentially life-threatening. The more severe, invasive form of this illness has the germ spreading to other parts of the body instead of just staying in the throat. No matter which form of strep a person person has, treatment is needed.
Antibiotic prescription is essential for group A strep infections.
The current shortage is limited to the liquid form of amoxicillin, which is easier for kids to take than pills. But the American Academy of Pediatrics says there are other options.
You could use the chewable tablets. You could use, the tablet form, which can be crushed and mixed in various, palatable foods like applesauce, etc. And then you could also use capsules.
There are alternative therapies too, like penicillin. Talk to your doctor about the right option for you.
The CDC says getting the flu or chickenpox can raise the risk for getting invasive group A strep. So the agency says to make sure vaccines that can protect against those illnesses are up to date.
Well, we've got another beautiful day today. However, we are watching the potential for some strong to severe thunderstorms Friday evening into the overnight hours. You can see we've got the elevated risk in yellow, a lower risk in that dark green, and that could shift eastward if these storms actually develop. So that's the thing, is we're expecting all the ingredients to be there, but there's also going to be a strong cap in place. You know, Doug's talked about this. That stops thunderstorms from developing, and if they can't break through, we may only see 1 or 2 storms. We may see none at all. So something we're going to keep a close eye on. We do have some patchy fog out there on the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line and from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400. Thankfully, nothing too dense or too crazy out there. Beautiful sunrise this morning. Yeah, there, take a look at that. Otherwise, clear skies, 50. South breeze at 8 in Joplin. Across the area, temperatures look like this. 50 Iola, 51 Yates Center, 48 Neodesha Independence, 52 Miami, 54 Neosho, and 49 in Carthage and Lamar. We get our day started. Sunny skies near 70 by late morning. Could see winds gusting upwards of 20 and maybe just a pinch over, but otherwise not too bad. Those wind gusts will persist through today and into tonight. Maybe a cloud or two this afternoon. Otherwise sunny. Temperatures pushing the mid to upper 70s, maybe even some lower 80s out there for some of us today. Into tonight, we stay clear down to 60 by 10, overnight low into the lower 50s. Once again, at 51 has not changed in 3 days now, it seems. Breezier tomorrow, mid 70s. Those evening storms Friday, we're talking after 7 o'clock if we see them. Again, we'll watch it. Near 80 otherwise. Cooler Saturday, 62. Nice on Sunday and Monday, temperatures rebounding, and then we're watching the possibility of some additional strong to severe thunderstorms by Tuesday, highs in the mid-60s. So a couple of systems we're keeping an eye on. Remember, we're in storm season, so we're going to start to see a few more of these possible severe events as the weeks go on. We'll be right back after this, but first, here's a live look from Carl Junction.
Welcome back. It's time for another Wildcat Wednesday. We've got Julie Smith and Kemi Ryan in studio this morning, here to tell us about a big expo coming up called Aging with Attitude.
That's
right. We all want to do, right?
Yes. Yeah, and we're all aging, and I think that at least us two, we have a little bit of attitude, so it's going to be a lot of fun. It's Friday, April 28th. This year it's going to be in the morning. This has been going on for, we think, about 12 years.
Really?
And it's in Parsons this year, and we're switching it up a little bit, and it's going to be a breakfast event. So come out and have breakfast and then a day of activities in the morning.
What kind of activities will be going on during the expo?
We have a lineup of speakers. We have keynote speakers from Lucas Nodine. He'll be talking about estate planning, and we have Hal Redford from Carson Wall Funeral Home, funeral planning. We have Toby Johnston from Commercial Bank, wealth management. We have Heidi Daly doing yoga, chair yoga. So make sure
That'll
you're
be fun.
Yeah. Kind of, break the tension and get people out of their chairs and have some fun with that. And we have door prizes, just a lot of different things going on. So.
Yep. And Joanne Smith, that owns SEK Living Magazine, publisher, she's going to be doing a special presentation on day trips here in Southeast Kansas. So that'll be really fun and exciting, just to be reminded of what actually we have close to home.
There's a lot of stuff to do just within there and back. So that's awesome.
We forget about that. So
yeah. Yes. Especially with the economy the way it is, we need to support local. So that's always good. Yeah. Do folks need to sign up in advance for this event, or can they just show up that day?
There is pre-registration, and that ends April 21st, so next Friday. There is a website and a phone number you could call or contact any of our extension offices to get signed up. There's a $15 registration fee. That includes breakfast. And then just the day of activities, there's a resource fair, there's going to be all kinds of free stuff, and just a lot of fun.
Now, is this event solely put on by the Extension Service, or is there other organizations that help?
This is a group effort. There's a lot of folks on the planning committee. Tara Solomon Smith is the organizer this year with Extension, but it's sponsored a big part by the Area Agency on Aging financially. So they're the key sponsor in all of this, but it's a group of people that come together to share all of their resources and education and just try to make it as much fun as possible.
Cool. Now, this is an annual event. You said 12th year, I think. That you've been doing that. What other events? There's other things that you guys do throughout the year for seniors. I mean, the Extension really.
Sure. So we have programs all throughout the year for seniors, and then Cammie also is involved with a lot of things where there's just always something going on at different senior centers, and the goal for all of us, I think, in this whole planning committee is just to keep seniors active and getting out and just having a good time with each other. And I just really encourage groups of people to get together and road trip to Parsons for this event.
All right, and we'll have more information about where you can sign up on our website later this morning. Thank you for coming in, ladies.
All right, thank you.
We'll be right back.
Well, how do you claw your way to a happy marriage? Well, maybe try chasing your mate with a lobster.
Okay. Ginny Moose reports it may be a decade-long practical joke, but it's left viewers impressed with the relationship.
We're going to chop into it.
Most people eat lobster, but before they eat it, this Virginia couple has made a tradition of a lobster chase. Once a year for a decade, John Ferris has been sneaking up on his wife, Evie, chasing her around the house, dangling a live lobster. How can you still be scared after 10 years of this?
He still manages to startle me every time because I don't know when it's coming.
Lobster Day started back in 2014 when they cooked and ate their very first crustacean. It became a date night thing.
The following year is like, can I trick her again the same way? Is she going to really fall for it? Which she did. And then after that, I had to get a little bit more creative.
Attacking her while she's bending down, peeling potatoes.
Oh my gosh, no!
Sneaking up on her when she's on her phone. That's a decorative basket, though it kind of looks like a lobster trap. Eventually, Evie started defending herself, using tools from a wooden spoon to a lid she used as a shield. They've watched their 3 kids grow up in these videos, from Tyler in her arms to Tyler now, 9 years old, teaming up with Dad. Wielding a toy lobster, as was once said in a Friends episode.
Because she's your lobster. Come on, you guys. It's a known fact that lobsters fall in love and mate for life.
He's definitely still my lobster.
Yeah.
Posters love the videos because of what it says about their relationship. This is what happiness looks like. And then the next one was, not for the lobster. Though you'd think Evie was in hot water with all those screams. Ginny Moose, CNN, New York.
My favorite part is how calm the kids are. They're just so used to it.
Yeah,
like,
and their oldest is helping out with Dad with the lobster chase.
You thought he would be like, traumatized from like being a baby chased with it. Nah, not at all.
He's cool with it. He thinks it's the best thing ever.
That's what you do. You chase your spouse with a lobster.
I don't know that I could ever get away with something like that. I might get hit or have objects thrown at me.
You should try it.
I don't think Amber would grab a shield or anything. She'd grab the spoon or the knife or something
knife.
and start chucking things at me, and then it wouldn't end well for me or the lobster. But
probably not.
It'd be a very good dinner that night, though, after they cook up Dad.
Okay, it just took a turn for the worse.
Yeah, I'm kidding, of course. But still, I'm not going to give it a shot. But if you at home want to give it a try, go right ahead.
There you go.
We'll be back with more right after this.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:29. Got old tires you need to get rid of? The City of Joplin can help you out. The Joplin Recycling Center is hosting a free tire drop-off event this Saturday. Actually, not this Saturday. It's coming up Saturday, May 13th from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. Automotive passenger tires with or without rims will be accepted. There's a limit of 10 tires per household. The collected tires will be hauled to a recycling facility where they will be used for various items such as playground cover and running and biking friendly trail pavement. The recycling center is located at 1310 West A Street in Joplin. Missouri House of Representatives voted last month to strip state funding from public libraries. The action comes after the Missouri Association of School Librarians and the Missouri Library Association asked a circuit court to overturn a law passed last year that would ban certain library materials. The funding cut would result in $4.5 million loss statewide for public libraries.
Not a pleasant decision, not something any of us really liked. I don't like being in this position. On the other hand, I completely agree that the decision that's been made in this lawsuit is irresponsible, and there's a level of accountability. I mean, you don't just wrap yourself in the cloak of righteousness called library and feel free to do whatever you want.
Coming up on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14, we'll hear from, I'm sorry about that. Moving along. Some athletes in Carthage, Missouri put on some running shoes and hit the track field. Tuesday was the Special Olympics track and field meet. It's a chance to encourage athletes of all abilities and ages to compete at their optimum level. It also allows athletes the opportunity to learn through skill development and competitive settings, be involved in large social settings.
So I have them for quite a few classes right now, and getting them to focus, especially yesterday, knowing that today was the big event, it's a task, it's tough, but to see the joy and smile on their faces, I'll take a day off from my classroom to know that I can come out here and see them living their best life.
Officials say attendance was nearly doubled compared to last year.
We've got another beautiful day for us today. Could see winds gusting upwards of 20 miles an hour, maybe a pinch more through the day and into the overnight hours. Otherwise, sunny to start our day, near 70 by late morning. Temperatures this afternoon pushing the mid to upper 70s. Some of us might even make it into the lower 80s out there. A few passing clouds, otherwise not bad. We remain clear as we head into tonight, back down to 60 by 10 o'clock, and we'll make it once again. That number hasn't changed in about 3 days. We're looking at lows in the lower 50s tonight. Tanya?
All right, if you buy recreational marijuana in Joplin, you should expect to pay a sales tax of more than 20%. KOAM's Yana Dula talked with Joplin and Jasper County officials about the tax on recreational marijuana and how that money will be used.
Joplin residents voted on April 4th and approved a 3% sales tax for recreational marijuana purchases. City officials say this will go to the general fund pool, offsetting a loss of revenue.
There was a sales tax exemption created by the state to exempt sales taxes on the certain sale of manufacturing equipment. And so this new revenue that's available through recreational marijuana will help offset that new exemption.
In addition to the city tax, Jasper County will also collect a 3% sales tax on the sales. The state tax rate is another 6%, and the general sales tax rate is nearly 9%. Altogether, the sales tax on recreational marijuana in Joplin will be just short of 21%. Jasper County Clerk Charlie Davis says the money coming to the county goes to general revenue.
There is the discussion about there's going to take a little bit more effort for our sheriff's department to be able to manage some of the things that are going to potentially happen because of this. So this is actually going to be a money generator. Is going to raise a little bit of tax revenue, so that way we can help the public in any way we can.
He says the tax money can be substantial for both the county and the city of Joplin.
Jasper County citizens, they voted 74.18% in favor of this. I don't think I've ever seen that high of a percentage vote in favor of anything since I've been county clerk on the history of Missouri.
In Jasper County, Yana Haudala, KOAM News.
City and county taxes will take effect October 1st. Jasper County officials say the tax on medical marijuana will not increase. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, for better or for worse, artificial intelligence continues to find its way into every aspect of our lives. We take a look at what potential government regulation of this growing technology might look like.
And we've got a beautiful day for us today and another one tomorrow, but we are watching thunderstorm chances on Friday. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up. Artificial intelligence continues to grow in the U.S. and is becoming increasingly put into use. While some praise the technological advances, others are more weary. Mark Meredith has a look at what Congress can or should do about it.
We need to be ahead of this.
Massachusetts Congressman Jake Auchincloss is among a handful of lawmakers calling on Congress to regulate the fast-growing field of artificial intelligence.
So number one, we need sector-by-sector guidelines, and Congress can help convene. And number two is we need to democratize access to the actual cloud computing power.
Auchincloss made history in January by reading a speech written by an AI chatbot on the House floor.
To ensure that the United States maintains a leadership role in AI research and development.
The moment went viral, reigniting the debate over what Washington can do to ensure AI grows without risking America's economic and national security. President Biden says inaction is not an option.
Social media has already shown us the harm that powerful technologies can do without the right safeguards in place.
Today, the Commerce Department announced it's seeking the public's input on ways to regulate AI, as experts urge the government to move quickly.
These new AIs hack the foundations of language, which our democracy runs on language. When you hack language, you hack the operating system of your democracy, just like social media.
Cyber experts fear deepfakes, images and videos which look real but are computer generated, may amplify misinformation, even causing confusion and chaos. Congress is expected to further examine AI's risks and rewards throughout this year, even as some lawmakers urge regulators not to go too far.
We need to make sure that we make wise decisions about how to regulate so that we stimulate the growth of this incredible industry without stifling it.
Lawmakers tell Fox there's no one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to regulating AI, but there are a number of ideas still up for debate, from banning AI facial recognition software to requiring watermarks on AI-generated images. But at this point, it appears any final decisions are far off. In Washington, Mark Meredith, Fox News.
Well, as mentioned, we've got another beautiful day across the 4 states and some storm chances as we head into the end of the week. We'll take a look at that full forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. So we've been talking about Friday for a couple of days. Right now, this is what we're looking at. We have the elevated risk for strong to severe storms in yellow and then the lower risk in that darker green. There's some conditional factors to this. We'll have a dry line setting up, but there's also going to be a strong cap in place. So while there will be plenty of energy for storms, if they can't get through that cap, we may not see much of anything. If they can, we could see strong to severe thunderstorms with all severe hazards possible, and they could survive overnight into southwest Missouri and parts of northwest Arkansas. So something to keep a close eye on. Again, it is a conditional threat, but it is there, and we'll continue to monitor it over the next day and a half. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line. We're looking good so far. Still a little bit of patchy fog out there. Otherwise, not too bad. Same from the camera from KDOT at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh. We're seeing that patchy fog still out there, but burning off. Sunny skies otherwise, 50 with a south breeze at 8 in Joplin. Across the area, temperatures not bad. 52 Miami, 50 Chetopa, 53 Chanute, Fort Scott, Nevada, 51 Lamar, and 50 in Carthage. We could see winds gusting upwards of 20, maybe just a wee bit over through today and into tonight. Otherwise, sunny, near 70 by late morning. Maybe some afternoon clouds. Otherwise, sunny skies, temperatures pushing mid to upper 70s. We might even see some places reach the lower 80s today. We'll cool off gradually through the evening under clear skies, back down to 60 at 10 and dropping to an overnight low right around 51 tonight. So we head into tomorrow. It's going to be a bit breezier, so be prepared for that. Mid 70s again, up to near 80 on Friday. Watching those evening thunderstorm chances. If we see them, they'd be after about, say, 7 o'clock. They could persist into early Saturday morning, a little cooler, 62. Mid to upper 60s, Sunday, Monday, sunny, very nice. And we are watching the possibility of another round of maybe some strong to severe thunderstorms by next Tuesday. So as we've said, we're getting into storm season, and we want to just make sure we keep up on everything because we'll see few more severe events as the next several weeks persist. That's Check Your Forecast. Now, here's Tanya Bach with Consumer Watch.
Thank you, Chris. Pepsi is one of the first companies to try out the new Tesla semi-trucks. The beverage giant took delivery of 18 of the big blue futuristic-looking trucks in Sacramento on Tuesday. Pepsi's goal is to use 100% renewable energy with zero emissions for its deliveries. The company hopes to take delivery of 100 more of the electric-powered semi-trucks by the end of the year. Sacramento's Metropolitan Air Quality Management District helped start the program with a grant. It's believed the fleet will eliminate more than 1,000 metric tons of greenhouse gas annually. Chipotle says it's going green, and not just with lettuce and cilantro. It's unveiling a new restaurant design that's fully electric and aimed at reducing greenhouse emissions. Company says it's pairing it with wind and solar credits, so it effectively runs on 100% renewable energy. 2 new restaurants in Virginia and Florida feature the design. Chipotle says it plans to open a 3rd in Colorado this summer. The company says the electric restaurants are part of its plan to cut greenhouse emission in half by 2030. The most recent consumer price index to be released Wednesday morning, and some economists predict annual price increases falling below the 6% seen in February. If so, it would be the 9th decline in as many months. John Lawrence reports.
As the Federal Reserve continues to fight escalated inflation rates, many Americans are forced to fork out more for goods and services.
This has been something that's stuck around longer and at higher levels than just about anyone foresaw, and that's taking a toll on consumers.
While inflation has eased slightly from record peaks over the past few months, the U.S. economy is still reeling from numerous issues, including the failures of 2 banks last month and a yet-to-be-reached agreement on the country's debt limit. However, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has guarded optimism.
The U.S. economy is obviously performing exceptionally well with continued solid job creation. I'm not anticipating a downturn in the economy, although, of course, that remains a risk.
The International Monetary Fund appears to see a potential risk as it downgraded its global economic forecasts on Tuesday due to, quote, the recent increase in financial market volatility.
Given how high inflation is, how long it's been elevated, so the potential that it becomes entrenched, it's still more likely than not that we will see a recession here in the United States. And our expectation is that probably comes somewhere in the back half of this year.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Well, the Federal Reserve's next meeting is scheduled for May. We'll be right back with more after this, but first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. Beekeepers across the country say ongoing bouts of extreme weather are creating sticky situations for their insects, with many colonies affected by prolonged rain and cold or completely destroyed by tornadoes and hurricanes.
Ted Lindner takes a closer look at how you can give your local honeybees a helping hand this spring.
The state of honeybee populations across the country is anything but sweet.
Bees are beset by pests and parasites, loss of habitat, introduction of new potent pesticide chemicals.
Extreme weather patterns are also taking a toll. Beekeepers in storm-battered California say the past several months of extreme cold and rain have stressed the bees that pollinate critical crops.
Some of that cold weather was right during peak almond bloom in our part of the state, and the bees actually didn't fly significantly for 8.5 days in late February and early March.
The Almond Board of California says the Golden State produces roughly 80% of the world's almonds. While it's too early to know if the delay in pollination will cause production issues, beekeepers say they've needed to give their bees more sugar syrup because they haven't been eating as much nectar.
The bees were not able to fly, and we just want to make sure that they don't starve to death on us.
But the weather's impact on bees isn't isolated to just California.
Hurricane Ian last fall It wiped out almost all of southern Florida's beekeepers. Bees raised in the southern states like these are shipped north to replace winter losses here.
With honeybee populations continuing to face threats, wildlife experts say you can do your part this spring by not overusing insecticides and by planting native plants and flowers. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
Of course, you got to remember how important honeybees are to all of our food processes out there. So,
and there's a lot of people that are starting honeybees and raising bees right here in the 4 states.
We certainly need more of them for sure. Well, we're still watching the possibility of some strong to severe thunderstorms as we head into Friday. You can see the elevated risk highlighted in yellow and that lower end risk highlighted in green. There's the possibility, if we see these storms develop, that they could survive as they shove off to the east. But again, there's a lot of conditional threats or situations with this particular severe weather event as we head into our Friday. So we'll be monitoring this very closely over the next day and a half. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looks good so far. Plentiful sunshine out there. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh. Starting to see some of that patchy fog burning off. We're sunny, 50. South breeze at 8 miles an hour across the area. We're getting pretty good out there as the sun rises. 51 Iola, 53 Fort Scott, Nevada, 50 Carthage, Monette, Chatopa, and 52 in Miami. So we get our day started. Again, wind gusts pushing up to 20, maybe a little over 20, otherwise sunny, near 70. We'll hang on to those breezy conditions through the day and into tonight. Highs pushing mid to upper 70s, maybe some low 80s, and a few passing clouds this afternoon. This evening, we remain clear, nice, not too bad, dropping back down to an overnight low right around 51 degrees. And in terms of those thunderstorm chances as we head into our Friday, we are looking at if they can form. They're going to be roughly after 7 p.m. is when we're expecting to see that. So this shows maybe a shower or two in the afternoon. And then as we get into the evening around 9 o'clock, we see the better opportunity for those thunderstorms if they can break through the caps. So stay here with KOAM. We'll continue to watch this severe threat as we head into Friday and keep you up to date on all the changes. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Just after 7 p.m. Tuesday, authorities responded to a house fire on Goldfinch Road. There was a partial roof collapse and flames going through the roof. Authorities say everyone was out of the house safely. 2 adults and a child were displaced by the fire. Last night, about 9:30 p.m., troopers say a pickup traveling north on Schifferdecker failed to navigate the curve to Bell Center Road, went through the fencing at Faith Tabernacle, and took out a utility pole and lines. The crash took out power for about 1,000 people in Joplin. The driver was not injured in the crash. Power was rerouted and restored in about an hour. The Missouri House of Representatives voted last month to strip state funding from public libraries. The action comes after the Missouri Association of School Librarians and the Missouri Library Association asked a circuit court to overturn a law passed last year that would ban certain library materials. Funding cut would result in a $4.5 million loss statewide for public libraries. Golf carts are a popular mode of transportation for many people, particularly in residential areas. However, driving a golf cart on the streets can be dangerous if the proper precautions are not taken. Carl Junction Police Department issued a warning to citizens urging them to obtain the proper license to operate golf carts on the streets.
We've got ourselves another nice day. Winds could gust upwards of 20, maybe a little over from time to time. Otherwise, some passing clouds this afternoon, mostly clear skies, mid to upper 70s for highs. We go into this evening. We remain clear, as you can see. Nice evening, down to 60 by 10. Overnight lows in the lower 50s yet again. Breezier tomorrow, mid 70s, near 80 Friday. Watching those thunderstorm chances Friday evening into Saturday morning. Cooler Saturday, 62. Nice Sunday and Monday, and more storm chances on Tuesday.
All right, well, you don't have to put much thought into what to have for lunch today. The decision is easy. It's National Grilled Cheese Sandwich Day.
Now, nobody knows exactly when this comfort food was invented, but cooked bread and cheese has been around since ancient times.
The version you know and love originated in the 1920s when sliced bread and American cheese became readily available. Back then, was often served as an open-faced sandwich.
Today, you can use any cheese you like and try adding different ingredients, oils, and seasonings to create your own perfect meal. There's no wrong way to make grilled cheese, and that's part of why they've stayed popular and delicious. And we've got, as crazy as it sounds, a couple of local gas stations around here that make really good grilled cheese sandwiches, and you can add whatever you want to them, and they're amazing.
And today at noon, Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen is mixing it up, and he's making a pulled pork grilled cheese.
Now that should be interesting. See, no wrong way to make a grilled cheese sandwich. So make sure you get out there and enjoy one.
For sure.
Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We will be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.